PC cases are usually a mixed bag for me. While brands all try to push this whole ease of use and great versatility marketing thing, these so-called great features often come with compromises to some degree. But the Havn HS420 has seemingly ticked all these boxes without really leveraging on any sort of skimped features to do so. Rectron South Africa is now distributing the Havn range, and I actually kicked myself for sleeping on this brand. The company sent over the case for me to use when reviewing the Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Elite motherboard, and I thought it would be a great way to build an entire new PC with some fancy new parts while testing out the actual usability of the case. Spoiler alert, it was actually a rather impressive case. For this build, I'm using the Havn HS420 dual chamber gaming case. The model I got was in white. It also comes in black with a few different variations, including a vGPU model that includes a vGPU mount with a PCIe 5.0 riser cable, so you can slant your GPU into the case at an angle to optimize cooling and style. But this model isn't the vGPU one. Keep in mind that you can purchase the vGPU mount separately to add to this case later on. However, the product isn't available standalone in South Africa, so if you're looking at the vGPU model case, you need to buy it right from the start, as you can't add the mount in later on. Rectron also sent over the Corsair Nautilus 360 RS cooler. Of course, I have the Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Elite motherboard alongside the Intel Core Ultra 7 256K processor. I slapped in my Gigabyte RTX 5080 into the build, added 32GB of Kingston Fury DDR5 6000 MTS RAM, and used an 800W power supply. There's also a 2TB Samsung SSD for storage things. The Havn HS420 is an incredible case even before you start fiddling with its features. The craftsmanship stems into even the unboxing experience. The brand makes it easy to get going, and even the brief introduction certificate alongside the booklet is a great way to welcome customers to the case. To be honest, you seldom get any instruction manuals with most PC components these days, so it was nice to see this included in the box. Although I did avoid reading it until I really needed to. Testing it out requires some back strength, but I did manage. The case's most striking feature is definitely what the brand calls is the uni-sheet heat-formed glass. This is the highlight of the case and sees a wraparound glass sheet cover the front and side. It has a slight curve in the corner, which creates this sort of warped optical illusion effect, like sort of running water down the glass. You notice it when you pan across. The glass is just gorgeous. It is clean and sleek and exactly what you need if you want to showcase the most important components inside your PC, but more on that later. So I got to the building. The Havn HS420 is pretty straightforward when it comes to setting things up, if I must say. If you don't read the instruction manual, a lot will take you by surprise. I was surprised at just how many flaps and hidden compartments that this case has. It just expands as you build, and even when you take things apart, it never feels like there's way too many little pieces laying around that you need to put back together. My only gripe that I had is the lack of toolless features on this case. For example, the front glass has to be unscrewed from the case every time you want to get into the PC. It isn't just 1 or 2 screws, but you need to remove 4 screws every time. These are also not thumb screws, so you'll always need to have a screwdriver nearby if you want to open up the case. It isn't the end of the world, but in my case, it's a lot of moving parts to remove when I want to change things around for content, so it would annoy me. It is probably just a me problem, but a problem nonetheless. When it comes to the fan and the radiator support, the Havn HS420 is very versatile. The back features support for 2 120 or 140mm fans. If you're using 140mm, you need to remove the back plates and use the fans alone by screwing them into the padded holes. For 120mm fans, you will just need to mount them onto these plates themselves. Then there are 3 main spots for triple fan or radiator layouts. You can put fans and radiators at the top or the side or the bottom. Altogether, you can have 11 fans in total, in this case with all of them being 140mm. It is a bit overkill, but who cares? The case also features a slide-in power supply chamber that hides away the box when you close up the case, and you'll find the usual USB-C and dual USB-A ports at the top with a large power button that is quite nice to press. The I/O is incredibly simple to install thanks to the cable clearance spots across the inside of the case. Speaking of which, these spots are great to use. They are made of silicone and include plastic strips that can slide up and down to move the cables up and down at the same time. The slots then let me fit through cables to make it all neat and tidy, and if the silicone piece was bending, I then slid and moved the cable to a further back slot to neaten it up. The same thoughtful cable management is also found on the side with clean cable highways that even include stickers which tell you which cables would be best to run on that said highway. When I started building, the Havn case includes a few extras in the accessory box that you might need. There's some power supply and motherboard screws, there's also some cable ties. There's also a Visa mount bracket so you can mount a display inside the case. There's also a few extra clips for cable management on those silicone holes I mentioned before, and there's some backup screws for the rest of the case. Initially, I went with the top radiator slot. I first installed the Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Elite motherboard, which was simple. I put the CPU into the board, placed it into the case, screwed it in, and then installed the cooler. This process was easy enough. I had to remove the radiator mount from the top of the case, which is just about unscrewing 3 screws visible with padded holes. I attached the radiator, installed these fans, and put it back into the case. The Corsair Nautilus does have a few extra cables for my liking, as these fans are not magnet daisy chain fans, but thankfully the radiator bracket has these little clips on that you can slip cables in to hang them neatly in the air and out of sight. Connecting this to the case was also simple. There are 2 fan hubs on the case, one at the back and one on the one side at the bottom of the case, near the power supply. 2 make it ideal for various fan positions, but I did still struggle to get all the fans connected because I was short of some extension cables. I also started off by adding 2 black fans to the back holes, but ended up switching out those for RGB white ones instead. However, the process was still a breeze. You have to remove the back plates, take off the fan plates, attach the fans to these plates, and put everything back. There's also 2 small holes to run fan cables through the back I/O so that you don't see these cables for these back fans. With the removable backplate, it also means that these cables are hidden away. The power supply also gets snugged away and hidden thanks to this backplate, so you barely even notice it or think about it. I've built loads of PCs in the past, and I don't think I've ever built a PC that has come out as clean and neat as the Havn HS420. It really shines when it comes to the simplistic cable management methods. The highways keep everything neat and tidy, and the little cable slots mean things just hide away and you don't see them. I ended up adding another triple fan to the side where the storage compartments are. These are for hard drives, but I will probably never use hard drives anyway, so I decided to remove the whole compartment. I just removed the second radiator bracket and installed the fans. So the only fan spots I have open now are at the bottom, but I'll probably just need to get fans sometime to install there. There's a lot to love about this case. Even the GPU arm mount is a breeze to use and allows for great versatility when it comes to the GPU size and weight. I think the only roadblock I hit was figuring out the fan installation, because while the company includes a thick booklet in the box, it doesn't discuss the fan I/O hub at all. I discovered with troubleshooting that the white fan slot here is for the PWM, so this has to be connected to some fan that goes into the motherboard. Else all the fans will run at max speed and they won't know what RPM to run at. But hey, I sorted it out after a few hours of testing. I used this case throughout my tests with the Gigabyte Z890 Aorus Elite, and cooling was phenomenal. There are various ways you can set up the airflow, but my setup saw the intake at the top of the case and the outtake at the back and the side. Sure, some things need to be improved on here. The GPU cable is fugly and I will need to get a 12VH PWR cable, probably in white. I also have black components and the all white build would be cool. It would be quite an undertaking to get everything in white, including the fans. But even then, some of the case's parts themselves are black, so you can't really achieve a full white look here unless you go and you spray paint these parts. But I love this case. The sheer simplicity approach here is wonderful, and there's an incredible attention to detail that I really appreciated. I love the minimalistic style, and even the ability to upgrade my fans to 140mm sometime down the line makes this case something I would keep for a long time. I really think Havn thought of everything here, and it really shows. The Havn HS420 case is available in South Africa now. The case costs around 3,500 Rand for the non-vGPU version and 4,300 Rand for the model with the riser cable mount included. So those are my thoughts on the Havn HS420 case. Are you looking to pick one up or have any questions? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're here, be sure to check out my review of the Gigabyte Z890 Elite motherboard and subscribe for future content like this. Until next time, farewell.